Hello, rotating period. Okay, so you do have some homework for today. Your homework is to finish IXL, fifth grade, F1 and F3. So make sure in IXL that you go into the fifth grade tab. It's green, and that you look for F1 and F3. You also today need something to write with and something to color with after you watch this video. So today we're going to talk about figurative language. We're going to talk about similes and metaphors, which you might be a little bit familiar with from fifth grade. What is figurative language? Figurative language is when words do not mean exactly what they say, and the reader has to interpret the words to understand the meaning. This is the opposite of literal language. So similes, what are similes and metaphors? A simile is a way of saying something is like something else. Similes use the words like, as if, or as blank as. So, for example, her lips were as red as rubies. So, similes always use the words like or as in them. Metaphors are a way of describing something by calling it something else. So, for example, her lips were red rubies. So you're actually calling the thing you have or are comparing the other thing. You're calling it that. So let's watch a little video that it's actually a little song.
Similes and metaphors are similar, but nothing more than a comparison in different ways. Similes is like a rise and metaphors, they none of that. They just say exactly what they wanna say. You really are the apple of my eye. Hanging with you is as easy as pie. You got a smile that lights up the room. Let's stay together like the stars and the moon. Similes and metaphors are similar, but nothing more than a comparison in different ways. Similes is like a rise and metaphors, they none of that. They just say exactly what they wanna say. Sometimes you're hot and sometimes you're cold. Then again, you can be good as gold. Into each life a little rain must fall. Don't just sit there like a bump along. Similes and metaphors are similar, but nothing more than a comparison in different ways. Similes is like a rise and metaphors, they none of that. They just say exactly what they wanna say. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And when you understand and say it's perfectly clear, don't you know that'll be music to my ears? That's another metaphor. Yeah, now you get it. Wow, similes and metaphors are similar, but nothing more. Similes and metaphors are similar, but nothing more. Similes and metaphors are similar, but nothing more. Similes and metaphors are similar, but nothing more.
Okay, so let's do a couple of examples here. So remember, a simile uses the words like or as to compare two things. So the space between the fence boards was as wide as a wire. So what two things are being compared here? So let's think about it. The simile compares a space and a wire. So sometimes a comparison is the opposite of what you expect. This simile means that the space is not very wide because the wire is thin. So it's comparing the space and the wire. The dog shot through the fence boards like a cannonball out of a cannon. What's being compared here? The simile compares how fast a dog is moving to how fast a cannonball shoots out of a cannon. The simile means that the dog is running very quickly through the fence. Let's try some metaphors. A metaphor can compare two things by saying they are the same thing. So the sun was a gleaming pearl in the blue sky. What two things here are being compared? The sun and a gleaming pearl, right? It means that the sun looks very bright and round in the sky. A metaphor here, the fireworks were brilliant falling stars. What's being compared? So the fireworks are being compared to falling stars. It means that the fireworks are bright like falling stars. So what you guys are going to do here is you're going to do a simile and metaphor drawing activity. So you're going to get the drawing paper that looks like this, and you're going to write and draw one example of a metaphor on the left and one example of a simile on the right. So make sure you pay attention to which side you're on, right? So remember, a metaphor just says something is something else. A simile uses like or as to compare two things. So make sure you're writing on the correct side. You want like or as on the simile side. So you can use any of the examples here. So metaphors are on the left, similes are on the right. You can use any of the examples here, and the definition is up here as well. So I gave you this in your digital notebook just to refer to. And you want to write a simile, so you want to make sure you don't just write as quiet as a mouse, because what's being compared? You want to say, I was as quiet as a mouse, so that we have the whole sentence, right? We need to know what's being compared there. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense, right? I ran as quick as a flash, right? So make sure you have the entire comparison written down there, so that it makes sense. And then if you make sure you color it so it looks nice. So here's some examples here. We're like two peas in a pod. My sister is the devil. You are my sunshine. So make sure you color it. And then after you're all set, hand it in. And then you're going to do IXL, 5th grade. You're going to go to under reading strategies and look for F, literary devices. You're going to do F1 and F3. Smart score of 80 or work for 30 minutes, F1 and F3. Okay, so make sure you make them sentences. All right, that's it.